I decided to have VSG surgery, which is vertical sleeve gastrectomy. It's a surgical weight loss procedure where 80% of your stomach is removed. It's not a cosmetic surgery. It has to be medically necessary for you to qualify. In order to qualify for the surgery, you need a BMI of 35 or higher, or a BMI between 30 and 35 with a qualifying obesity-related disease like diabetes, sleep apnea, something that is really affecting your health because of your obesity. My BMI was well over 35, and so it was nothing for my insurance to approve me for surgery. The first step was to contact my insurance company. I needed to know what the process was like and what they would cover. After that, I went to go see my PCP, my primary care physician, and I just let her know that I was interested in the surgery, and she referred me to a surgeon. The surgeon, Dr. Ferrari, shout out to him, he had his own steps for me to complete, as well as my insurance company having their own steps for me to complete prior to me even being approved for surgery. I had to have 12 visits with my doctor, Dr. Ferrari, and he allowed them to be virtual. So that was amazing for me because I didn't have to physically go into the office to see him, but we would get on a virtual Zoom call and talk about my progression on weight loss, because what he wanted to do was see if I could lose any weight by myself. And so he had me on a strict diet. This diet was important because it prepared my stomach for surgery. On top of this, I had to take cardiovascular tests, I had to get blood work done, I had to see a dietitian. And so depending on your insurance, there will be different qualifications that you have to meet and different things that they have you do so that you can be approved for surgery. So after completing all of the necessary steps, which my tip is to get them done, do not prolong going to your appointments, do not prolong getting things done, because the faster that you work, the faster you'll get your surgery date. So I was finally approved, and my surgery date ended up falling on June 1st, 2023, which was one day before my 28th birthday. And so I like to think that it's a birthday gift that I gave myself, and still to this day, it's just really special to me. I arrived at the hospital at 5 a.m. The instructions were not to eat anything the day before surgery, just so that my body could be prepared. I think it was like maybe 12 hours before surgery or something like that, where I had to make sure that I was not eating anything. Depending on your surgeon, they will have specifications for you. Surgery lasted for about 2 hours, and thank God I had my parents there. That's another tip that I would give, is make sure that you have someone there that can support you, because surgery in general can be traumatic, and it's a life-altering surgery. And you do wake up in a pretty good amount of pain. I would say pain was about 8 out of 10 for me. And so you just want somebody there, like a familiar face, so that you at least feel somewhat okay. So once I woke up from surgery, I was in the hospital bed, and I immediately felt the pain. I won't lie, I immediately felt the pain. It was about an 8 out of 10. And really, you just feel it in your abdomen. There's a tightness, and it feels almost like there is trapped gas. That's the best way to describe it, is when you experience gas, it feels like kind of sharp. And so that same pain was like an 8 out of 10. The instructions were for me to walk and make sure that I let some of that gas out. The gas naturally moves out of your body as you continue to move and walk. And it is painful to get up, you're sore, but it's not anything that's absolutely impossible. I didn't eat or drink anything that first day after waking up from surgery because I was in so much pain. I had no desire to eat or drink anything. And that's the other thing that you'll notice after surgery, is that you really are not hungry. You're not thirsty. There's nothing that could satiate you at that time. And so you really just want to rest in that first day. The next day, I was able to get some liquids down. Now, as you know, after surgery, you are on a strict liquid-only diet. And so this was the beginning of starting that for me. They brought some Gatorade, they brought some tea, they brought some broth that I was able to drink on. And then also they brought me a popsicle, which I loved. You have to remember that 80% of your stomach is removed. So now you're really left with this size of a stomach. Like, it's shaped in the form of a sleeve, which is why it's called vertical sleeve gastrectomy. But if you imagine the size of it, it's only like a small egg. And so you can't fit a lot of liquid, you can't fit a lot of food. And so when you first get that first sip of whatever, you're going to feel it go down. You're going to feel where it settles into your stomach, and it can be very uncomfortable. So you want to sip slowly and softly. Surgery went really smoothly. Everything worked out. Dr. Ferrari came to visit me and make sure that I was doing okay, and he let me go after day 2. My parents took me back to my home, and from there, I was able to take care of myself. This is not a surgery where you will be completely needing someone else's assistance. You can take care of yourself, you can walk, you'll be fine. So I don't want you to be fearful about surgery or think that it's something that is going to have you really dependent on anyone else. It's really not. It's a 2-hour surgery. It's nice and light. The pain is the worst on day one, and it continues to dissipate after that. So the days following, you are feeling 100% better. My full recovery time was 2 weeks. That was the time allotted for me to be off of work. Physically, I felt okay to go. It was the mental and emotional side of things where I was feeling like I needed a little bit more time to just get adjusted to this lifestyle change and to get adjusted to the fact that I was not going to be eating. And so I thought about, what do I do at lunchtime? What do I do when me and my girls are trying to go out? Like, I wasn't ready to be reintroduced to society just yet. So that's another tip that I would give. If you can spend more time recovering, if you have that free time to be able to not be at work, I would definitely say give yourself 3 to 4 weeks to really get into your own body, really understand the procedure, and figure out how you want to reintegrate into society, because things are going to be drastically different once you get back into the real world. So I was on a liquid diet for about the first 3 weeks, and that actually was not that hard for me. It was a little difficult because I craved food, but I knew that if I had tried to ingest food that I would immediately be sick. That's the other thing, is that you have to be very, very cautious, because you have to treat this like a brand newborn baby. This stomach of yours, this new stomach of yours, cannot hold heavy food or solid food. It's just learning how to redigest. And so you have to make sure that you are not overly stuffing it. Trust me, your body will give you plenty of warning signs that it is feeling overstuffed. The best way to describe it is like a sharp pain where your stomach really feels like it's being pushed, or it's super full. Like, you know, for those who have not had the surgery yet, you know how you feel when you're super full. Imagine that with a small amount of food going in there. So for my liquid diet, I would do Gatorade to try and keep my electrolytes up. I would do water, tea. I would do broth. I loved chicken broth and beef broth. And I couldn't finish the whole bowl, but I would just sip, take a little spoonful and sip, and it made me feel like, oh, okay, I actually ate something today. Because you are on this liquid diet, you lose weight very rapidly in those first 3 weeks. First month, I was down 10 pounds. Once I moved to my soft food stage, I was eating mashed potatoes, refried beans, applesauce, things that were like really soft and mushy. And I was so excited because it was like, finally I get some real food. The weight was literally falling off, like falling off, you guys. Within 3 months, that's when I feel like I really, really saw a complete difference. And I was like, oh my gosh. The place where I saw the most weight loss in the beginning was in my face. My jaw structure had changed, my neck had gotten smaller. Once I made it to solid foods, I still was not able to consume a lot. And so over time, weight just kept falling off. I have now officially lost 100 pounds and kept it off. And I'm so excited. I'm not sure if I told you guys, my starting weight was 297 and I'm now 197. And so I just feel so much better. I have so much more energy. I feel like I can wear what I want, do the activities that I want to without being sweated out or feeling bogged down and tired. I can go up and down a flight of steps without any issues. I'm not out of breath anymore. And I also wanted to make sure that I was not going to go the route of having to be on blood pressure pills or be diabetic or take all of this medicine just to remain healthy. Since losing the weight and having the surgery, I am super, super intentional about making sure that I'm eating nutritious foods, getting enough protein in, and I like to get my protein in with actual food. I will do protein shakes and protein drinks, but I'm not a huge fan of those, even though that is what the doctor would recommend when you're first coming out of surgery, especially when you're on your liquid diet. But I prefer at this stage in my life to get my protein from real foods. I love steak, I love chicken, I love fish. I try to make sure to get my protein in. I love the gym. I love weightlifting. I love cardio. I love making sure that I am just keeping my body healthy. Even though the physical part is the main thing that this surgery addresses and it's the main thing that people see, that was probably the easiest thing for me to deal with. When it comes to the mental, emotional, and spiritual side of things, there was so much more that I knew that I had to let go of. And so I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into the ebook about those things.